want to talk about are some phone skills. So today, since this is my favorite part of talking about how we get to step up to the plate and then use our talents in our industry, and we become better at what we do. And because we're in a business that's called home-based business, I'm assuming a lot of people are doing their business from home. And to do that, we have to master our telephone. So I'm going to tell you a couple things that might help you in the phone department today. I love working the phone. Now, this is a much bigger class, by the way, than just this few minutes I'm going to give this to you. So there's a lot more to it, but I want to give you some major key golden nuggets today. And these are some things you can practice and have fun with. Have you ever listened? We have good words, bad words, by the way, and you can hear that probably on biztipsradio.com. If you go over there, I've done a show called Good Words, Bad Words, and it wouldn't hurt for you to go listen to that training. It's free, and so again, biztipsradio.com. If you go there, you'll enjoy some of the lessons there that will help you to really grab some additional knowledge and make them into practical application to help advance you in what you're doing. Now, when you learn good words, bad words, you'll learn words that actually repel a prospect or pull them in. And there's certain things that we call warm and fuzzy words and certain words that become a little colder. Like if I told you I was working right here in your area today, that's kind of cold. But if I told you I was working right here in your community, that's warm. That pulls you in. Community. Everybody, that's a nice warm word. See how that means? So you'll learn the power of some of those words as we're working with prospects. And, by the way, with your family and loved ones and maybe in your regular JOBs and working with your children, these are all really important life-changing skills that I hope you'll carry on. I hope you really enjoy them. I love this. Now, voice tones, because we can't see each other, are crucially important on the telephone. So being able to raise the pitch of your voice or lower your voice, be able to talk soft or be able to get excited, you have to be able to kind of do all those things on the telephone. And it's because you deal with different people's personality. So one part of you, as you start working, has to become a little bit of a chameleon, because across the table, I can emulate somebody if I'm sitting across from them. If they fold their arms, I can kind of lightly fold mine. If they fold their hands, I can do the same. By emulating your prospect across the table, we get to make somebody feel more comfortable, and they don't know why, but they identify with you. But over the phone, the way to do this is to simply use your voice inflections. And some people have kind of lost some of that fun zeal in life where they don't kind of catch it anymore. They just kind of bypass it, and they kind of go through day-to-day activity, and you're not paying attention to other people for a while. So I'm going to give you a couple fun exercises that will help you. When you're in the car and you're hearing the radio, most of us are always looking for the music. I'm going to encourage you to listen to the infomercials, the commercials, and listen to what happens to the announcers with their voice. And while you're in the car, by yourself, there you are, have some fun and emulate the announcer. So when they said, today it's only, I want you to go, today it's only. I want you to just actually imitate what you hear so that you get your skills of your hearing tuned in to what you need to do to be good at your craft. And this is part of it, learning how to hear the pitch of people's voice and the voice tones of where they're at. Now, I'm not saying you become that person. I'm saying you be you, but you want to identify with the people you talk to. So when you get on the phone and you talk to a prospect and they tend to talk a little soft, or if they're talking a little bit slow, you're going to want to do exactly that same thing. Now, the lady I spoke with last night was very soft-spoken, so I had to bring my voice tones down and talk with her on her level. And I believe if I went back to the person who put us together, I believe I'd find that we really did make a connection, because I started to feel that connection as she began to open up and start to laugh, and things started to happen in the call. And those are the clues to know that you're doing your job correctly. So you're really wanting that person to know it's about them, and you want them to connect with you, and you want to get in that doorway so that they'll listen to what you have to say and that you can do your job effectively. And if I find somebody whose voice tones are like real low and they kind of talk slow. But if I talk like this because I'm really excited, I'm going to blow them out of the water. They're not going to listen. They're not even going to connect with me, and especially if I talk a mile a minute. I have to be able to do these skills. They're very important later. And if you're someone who does talk low and talk slow, then you need to pay real close attention because it's time to bring your energy up. And it's time to bring that level of excitement up. And you know the old rule, when you want to get somebody's attention, whisper. So learning how to use the power of your voice to do that. Hopefully you've heard me doing it in this lesson with you so you can really get the effect. It makes your ears perk up. It makes you listen, makes people pay attention. And that's dynamic over the telephone. So the next thing about the phone, or some fun things to do also, another fun exercise, and when I have taught my courses, I have a lot of people who come back and tell me these stories. Have you ever learned the parrot game when you were a kid? When you were a kid, and if you had a sibling or you had other kids you played with, you'd say, I'm telling, and they go, I'm telling, and you go, stop it, and you guys start mirroring each other, and we parroted one another, and to the point of almost agitation. So I have encouraged parents to have fun with their kids and do this and see if they're getting somebody to listen in their household when they do it. Exact voice tones to your kids or the same voice tones to your spouse or to your friend or whatever you're doing. Have some fun with this. So once you're starting the infomercial part and you're listening, and on television you're listening to the same thing, if you're doing that, listen carefully to the things that are being said and how they're being said. So that's what I'm going to say on that. I'm going to move to the next topic. If you called me on the phone and I know you, I am going to pay attention. I'm going to listen. If I don't know you, I'm going to behave in a different manner. So just for fun, if you have a piece of paper in front of you, draw a line just down the center for just a minute, a little piece of paper. So you've made a square and draw a line. On the right side, put the word know, K-N-O-W, you know somebody. And over here, put a question mark on the right side where you don't know them, like, who is this? So I'm going to show you something that happens psychologically to people, and this is how you get in the front door of any prospect you're calling. This is how you do it. The prospect's not waiting for your call. So if you're calling leads, which I love to do, if you're calling strangers, which I like to do, if you're calling semi-warm market or referral market, which I love to do, you need to get yourself into the doorway enough to get that first 15 and 20 seconds for that prospect to listen to you without hanging up the phone. And I'm going to show you what happens. Psychologically, your brain plays a game. Your brain goes like this. So take your pen to the left, then you take your pen to the right, and keep going back and forth and back and forth. And when you're doing this action, let me talk to you. What's happening if I call you on the phone, if I call you as though I know you, you're going, do I know her? Don't I know her? Where do I know her from? When did I meet her? How did I? And this is what happens with your brain. And while your brain can only focus on one activity at a time, you have left the dishes or cooking, or you've left whatever you're doing, setting the table or bathing children, or whatever has happened. The person has left that activity and has 100% your attention if you do this correctly over the phone. So now, when you've got that 20 seconds, if you've listened to your prospect's voice tones and you're able to mirror that a little bit pretty good and you've mastered that, when you start talking similar to them, they're thinking, oh my gosh, do I know this person? Where do I know this person from? How do I know this person? And in those 20 seconds, you have just a quick minute to get in the door and either set an appointment or call that person back or actually engage in a conversation. And here's how it works. When I call you on the phone, I don't call you and say, hi, this is Carlyn Rhodes. I don't do that. I call you and I say your name, and then I say my name, if I have to, right? So it would be something like this. Hey, Clay, Carlyn. And you say, oh, hi, Carlyn. But if you don't, I can keep talking because you're going, do I know her? Don't I know her? Where do I know her? How do I know her? Your game is, your brain is doing that game, which allows me now to say, Clay, you and I haven't met yet. However, I can start that way. Or I can say, Clay, your name recently came across my desk as someone who is open to other ways of earning money, saving money, or both. I'm just giving you a courtesy phone call to find out. Is that still true about you? So just in those sentences, now your brain goes, oh, yeah, because now you're focusing on the question that I asked. So if I call you I raise the pitch of your name just like I know you, or I raise my pitch slightly up. Now, telemarketers don't do that. They just barrel in and start doing it, and they're rude. They don't even ask you if it's a good time to talk. So you have to remember, we're not telemarketers. We master the phone. This is our craft. We talk to people. We're not soliciting people, but we're trying to establish and build relationships and rapport over the phone. So we are not telemarketers. So I might call somebody, and I might say, hey, Carlin, did I catch you at a good time? And they say, yeah. And they're thinking, do I know her? Don't I know her? Do I know her? And this is so great. You're just saying your name. Now, when I ask for somebody, I don't have to say, is Stephen McCarroll there? I have to go, hey, Stephen. If it's not Stephen, the person goes, hold on. Hey, Stephen, telephone, right? So I know when the other person comes to the line, I'm going to have the right person. So you don't have to say, is so-and-so there? Because the next thing they're going to say is, who is this? So you want to be cautious when you're calling people. Just simply go for who you're talking to. Raise the pitch of your voice like you already know them. And this, my friends, is a little secret if you're working businesses, how you actually get through gatekeepers as well. You simply start to learn who you're talking to, and the next time you call, you raise the pitch of your voice, hey, Janet, and they're like, yeah, and they think they know you. Or the same way to get to the boss. If you find out who the boss is or who's making that decision maker, and you say, hey, is Bob around? They think that you know Bob, and they treat you totally different. And the door flies open for you, and so I say, learn how to kick the door open, because you know what? When you're a friend, you come through the back door. But when you're a stranger, they open the door very, very, crack it at the front because they don't know you. So start to learn how to come in as a backdoor friend to all of your conversations on the phone and master that telephone so that your world begins to open up and gives you more of what you want. Never be afraid to ask somebody, hey, did I catch you at a good time? Don't ever talk about the negative side of any conversation. Don't say like, is this not a good time? Don't offer that it's not a good time. Just say, hey, did I catch you at a good time? Or do you have a few minutes right now? Or I just need a quick minute to ask you a question. Keep it where it's exciting and they want to know what. Now, don't throw up on your prospects. Don't tell them everything over the phone. Here's one of my key rules. You either tell them all of it when they're ready to hear it, or you tell them none of it. So you either tell them all of it when they're ready to hear it, or you tell them none of it. So keep yourself in a mystery state where they're always saying, well, and how do you do that? And what's that all about? And when you start to learn that our peak interest script that's in the back office of StarMakers.us, some of these things to pique their interest will have them wondering, okay, yeah, I'm interested in that, but how do you do that? See, it doesn't give them all of the questions, the questions we ask or the script that we have you open the door with doesn't give them all the answers. That's where your job is to create just enough mystery, talk to them, and find out what do they really want? What are they looking for? Where do they want to go in life? And when you find out their answers to the questions you ask, that's when you have permission to share your business. Only when you do your job right. So it's not about coming in their front door, telling them about your agenda, your business, and having them say, oh, I'm not interested. Because they're going to jump to a conclusion of what it's about if you tell them too much. And they're not going to have a relationship with you. And they're then going to say, I'm really not interested. So what you want to do is get in the door, talk to them a little bit, pique their interest, and then start to ask, hey, listen, let me just learn a little bit more about you. So have you been looking long for have you been looking for a while? What have you been looking for? What do you currently do? Start learning how to ask 20 questions. You're going to write them down, ask 20 questions, but you're not going to ask all 20. You need to learn how to segue from one question to the next question to the next question, only so that you can keep a conversation going. And in about 3 to 5 minutes, if you've had some good quality talk with a person, you learn the power of if, would, you. And that's when you've learned enough information, and there are 3 magical questions that you can ask in your questions to give you the answer that could lead you to, if I could show you something that made sense and actually did something they're looking for and was able to give you what you're wanting to earn in life, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to hear more or gather more information? And they're going to say, well, no. And you're going to say, great. Because I learned how to ask the question, I've come to learn that no in this lifetime has become a very negative word. So I love saying, go find the no's, and let's take those no's and make them yeses. So you want to learn how to ask that no question. Is there any reason why is the way you're going to start that question. So listen to those of you who have people in your house or work a job. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. You can get people to go in the direction you want by simply asking, hey, is there any reason why you couldn't go ahead and make these copies while I go ahead and set up the meeting room? You can actually engage people. They go, no, and you say, great, thank you. And no all of a sudden has a good positive response at the end, and you kind of, people are shaking their head like, what did I just say? It's unbelievable. You've seen it when you come out of a grocery store and stuff, and they go, hey, would you fill out the survey? That leads you to go, no, and you just keep walking. But if they go, is there any reason why I couldn't just share with you what we're doing a survey about? You go, well, no. Or if there is a reason, you say, I'm actually really in a hurry, and so I really can't. But that's what I'm trying to tell you is you have more of a chance of getting a yes from a no answer if you learn the right way to ask the question. Hey, honey, is there any reason why you couldn't go ahead and make the bed while I go ahead and start the coffee? Is there any reason why you couldn't take out the trash while I go ahead and start dinner? Is there any reason why, kids, you couldn't set the table? You've got to make this so much fun. When you start to learn these little tiny techniques, they enhance your life. It's what you do. And then the last thing on this is fun, is learning how to ask choice questions. And choice questions, I don't know what we're doing on time. We're almost at the bottom here. So choice questions are really fun, and here's what I want to tell you about that. Learn how to help people to make decisions. Some people say, well, if high pressure, high sales, low pressure, low sales, no pressure, no sales. That's not really true. If you actually work your prospect properly and get them into what they're looking for, you can then help guide them into the right decision. And by doing that, you simply give them choice questions. Remember that you always offer your best thing first. So I'm always going to offer you the Rolls Royce. Then I'm going to come on down to the Cadillac, and then I'll go to the B-Dub. And if worst of the case scenario, I'll then go to the B-Dub. If you've told me no, I'll go down to the V-Dub, and then I'll offer the bicycle. What I'm trying to tell you is you always start with your best. You're the professional. You're the specialist. This is your industry. You know the best way for a prospect to do what they've got to do. Don't leave it up to them to decide. They don't know. And I want to tell you that this is what happens. When you go to a doctor, if there's something wrong with you, do you know that even a doctor gives you 3 choices? They'll give you listen, for this particular issue, you should probably go to such and such specialist at St. Jude's Hospital. Or maybe you could go, there's another guy that you can go to at this place, or you can go to the animal hospital. They're going to give you choices whether you know it or not. And normally the doctor's first recommendation, he's a professional, is his best. So you've got to do the same thing. You've got to offer your best first, then and another choice. And then when a person says no to the best, listen, you don't get rid of both of them. You come down to the middle one again, and then you go to the next one. And so you help people make alternative decisions as to what makes sense. Because if you just leave it wide open, they have no idea. So you see what I said, this training is so amazing because it really, what I just said to you now, goes into literally how to put people in your day timer and make the appointment when you're ready to work. You're in control, not them, because it's all back down to choices. And I love to give little tips because there's people now that have grandkids, great-grandkids, and even young people that are coming to become networkers are learning how to involve their children. So have some fun. You don't say to your kids, what do you want for breakfast? They'll have total pandemonium. What you say is, hey, would you like hot cereal, or would you like cold cereal, or do you want pancakes? Whatever you offer first, if you raise the pitch of your voice and get excited about the first choice, lower the pitch of your voice on the second and third choice, the chances are most people choose the one you're the most excited about. Now, how is that for having control? So if you're ready to make cold cereal instead of hot cereal, you'd say, hey, kids, what do you want for breakfast? Do you want some cold cereal, or would you like oatmeal, or, do you want pancakes? So when you say that, they're like, cold cereal. They're all excited, and you don't understand why. It's because you did it. You raised your voice. So what works better for you? Can I call you back in the morning or afternoon? What works better for you, 11:30 or 1 o'clock? Who's in control? Where are you putting your prospects? It all comes back down to the same thing. And doesn't this come right back around to the voice inflections? Because you see how it all ties back around? Every bit of these skills, they work one into the other to the other, and it makes your job actually fun. Then you start to do it not just consciously, you start to do it subconsciously because it becomes part of your habit and it becomes part of your lifestyle. And then people are saying, oh, they're really good at what they do, or, oh, you're so good at it, and you don't even realize why you're good anymore. That's just because you have mastered your craft. So hopefully today some of these little tips will help you to move in excelling in your business and making your business fun and helping us to grow, because I love always learning and always learning what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. What are the repercussions when I don't do it, and what happens when I do it right? And if you do that and you're learning it, not just doing it, learning it and really feeling it, you're going to become a master at your craft. You're going to become somebody teaching it down the road, because they're going to say, how do you always do that? And that's what kind of makes life really fun. So, Stefan, that's what I wanted to share this morning.